Remember I said that you owe Marcuse a debt?
Sure.
Marcuse, during his latter years in the late 60s and early 70s, is the guy responsible for getting the feminist ideology ball rolling by opening doors for women with feminist ideologies at universities. He's literally the guy who held the door open to allow them to come in and start to speak.
Well, first of all, he did not allow them. He wanted them because he knew he could use that as a vehicle to push more communist ideas. Because feminism is
Okay.
communism with tits. They want all of us knocked down to the bottom
Yes.
peg. They don't want us to be dangerous. They don't
Mhm.
want us to be, free will
Yes.
thinking or own shit.
Mhm.
They want us to be slaves so they can feel safe because men are
Mhm.
oppressive and mean.
Well, you saw it here. The whole Frankfurt School ideology was reason is oppressive.
Yeah.
Reason is oppressive. How the fuck is reason oppressive? I'm still trying to figure that one out.
Well,
So,
it's oppressive when you're not a useful idiot.
yeah, yeah,
If you're a
that
useful
was
idiot, it's not a big deal.
it. Was feminism was a big thing with Marcuse. His whole sexual liberation in the body in his book Eros and Civilization. He argued modern capitalist societies repress human sexuality to maintain order and productivity. Yes. Drawing from Freud and Marx, he believed that the liberation of erotic desire, not just sexual behavior, but pleasure, sensuality, and play, in other words, being a degen, was central to human freedom. The idea directly influenced feminists who challenged the puritanical male dominated norms around sex, including Shulamith Firestone and Kate Millett, who are apparently very significant feminists. They echoed Marcuse's critiques of repressive sexuality and linked it to patriarchal control. Marcuse gives you your patriarchy right here, arguing that the liberation of women must include the liberation of the body from both economic and sexual domination. Marcuse's idea of libidinal liberation provided philosophical ammunition for feminists arguing against the sexual double standard and for reproductive rights, bodily autonomy, and challenging heteronormativity. That all
Yes.
happened in 1970.
That's a
So
whole lot of work
we should have like Marcuse Day
Marcuse Day.
because you owe this guy like most of your material.
That guy's an ass.
He's a fucking let's see here. Critique of technological rationality and the one-dimensional man. Marcuse's idea that the advanced industrial societies create false needs and co-opted dissent through consumer culture spoke directly to feminists concerned with the commodification of female bodies. OnlyFans, anyone? Gender roles shaped by consumer advertising and domestic norms, and the happy housewife stereotype is a manufactured ideal. Betty Friedan, we know her name. Feminists used Marcuse's tools to critique how technology, media, and advertising shape not just economic life, but gender identity, reinforcing roles that keep women confined to private and domestic spheres. OnlyFans horse. What?
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do?
OnlyFans. But again, communism has to have like the oppressor and the oppressed.
Yeah.
For it to work. And they literally changed the names.
Yep.
You know, maybe they changed some of the verbiage, but it's always the same thing. Men oppressing women.
Mm-hmm. You've heard of Angela Davis? She's
No.
the infamous black Marxist activist who I think she ended up fleeing to Cuba. I think she's still in Cuba. Marx created her at UC San Diego. He basically created her. He created the idea that sexual repression is political and that liberation must deconstruct false needs and identities imposed by patriarchal capitalist society. Does any of this sound familiar to anybody? This is exactly what the schools are going through today.
Yes. Again,
Like,
nothing new under the sun. This has already been done. It's just it's becoming a bigger scope because we have way more people involved in it, and we have the internet.
limitations and criticisms of Marcuse. Despite his influence, Marcuse also had some blind spots. He rarely addressed patriarchy as a system of power in his own right, which became the feminist touchstone. Their favorite thing in the world is to address the patriarchy. Now, feminists would have written this off as, well, Marcuse is a man. Obviously, he's not going to talk about the patriarchy, because that's how the feminist brain works. His focus remained largely on class, culture, and authoritarianism, not the specifics of gender-based oppression. But that's when you've got, what was that one we stumbled across? Remember, for the Society for Cutting Up Men? We stumbled across a whole bunch of really seriously crazy feminist stuff where they wanted to like literally kill all men. That was like their goal.
That's so dumb.
They were banana crackers, and those were, as it turns out, students of Marcuse's at Berkeley and San Diego and a bunch of other places. Feminists later critiqued his work for being male-centric. And there it is, especially in how he interpreted sexuality from a universalized, implicitly male perspective. Nevertheless, they found in Marcuse a theoretical ally, if not a complete feminist thinker. He basically created their erotic theory of liberation, which is where you get OnlyFans from now. And all of the core components that the feminists would adopt and later change to suit their needs, like their demonization of patriarchy and their penis bad think and all of that stuff, and their entitlement.
I mean, all
pay gap,
so-called injustices that they keep spouting off at the mouth have been disproven when you use logic, facts, and reason. But they keep doing it because they are in a goddamn cult.
Watch Grunt Speak live every Tuesday and Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern. And if you want to join Pop for Supporters Sundays, go to redonkulous.com/donate and make a monthly pledge. A link is in the Meat Gazer box.